Welcome to Landmark Cases in a Nutshell. Today we'll be covering Marbury versus Madison. This is the case known for establishing judicial review in the United States. Though it may seem obvious to us today that the Supreme Court has the authority to determine whether executive, legislative, and administrative actions are constitutional, this power was not specifically outlined in the Constitution. There has been much debate among political and legal scholars alike over whether or not the framers intended the court to have this capability, but as of 1803, when Marbury versus Madison was decided, it has been widely accepted that the Supreme Court does have the power of judicial review. But let's get into the case. The conflict arose after the election of 1800, where Thomas Jefferson of the Democratic-Republican Party defeated incumbent President John Adams of the Federalist Party. The Democratic-Republican Party, also known as the Anti-Federalists, gained control of Congress as well. Right at the end of Adams's presidency, Congress passed the Judiciary Act of 1801. The act established 6 circuit courts with 16 new circuit judgeships. Due to how last-minute the act was, Adams was still writing commissions for the new judges up until the last hours of his presidency, which is why this became known as the midnight appointments. All of the judge appointees were approved by the Senate, but the appointments would not be valid until their commissions were delivered by the Secretary of State. William Marbury was among the last of the judges appointed, and unfortunately did not receive his commission before Jefferson took office. After taking office, Jefferson rendered all of the commissions not yet delivered void to try and reduce the number of new Federalist-appointed judges. He instructed the Secretary of State, James Madison, not to deliver them. Marbury petitioned the Supreme Court to issue a writ of mandamus, which is basically just an order from a court to any government, to compel Madison to deliver the commission. Marbury believed he had the right to do this because of Section 13 of the Judiciary Act of 1789, which essentially authorized the Supreme Court to issue writs of mandamus to anyone holding office. There were several legal questions at hand here, but the main one the court ended up focusing on was whether or not they even had the authority to order the delivery of the commissions, and they ended up determining that they did not. Chief Justice Marshall authored the majority opinion of the court. Marshall explained that although Marbury was entitled to his commission, the court could not grant it to him. The justices determined that Section 13 of the Judiciary Act of 1789 was actually unconstitutional because it conflicted with Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution. But how did it conflict? Well, Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution details the jurisdiction of the federal courts, and Section 13 of the Judiciary Act had improperly enlarged the original jurisdiction of the court. Because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land and nothing may contradict it, Section 13 was rendered void. So, who won this case? Well, technically nobody. Although the court agreed that Marbury should have received his commission, they couldn't grant it to him because, as mentioned earlier, they didn't actually have the authority to do so. But, in deciding this case, Marshall established the notion that the court could declare a law unconstitutional and overturn it, aka judicial review. This was very strategic on Marshall's behalf. He avoided a conflict with anti-federalist Jefferson by not forcing Madison to deliver the commission, while also establishing more power for the Supreme Court, something that the Federalists supported. Therefore, there were some gains and losses on both sides, though poor Marbury never received his commission. Well, that's all for this case. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.